We like to call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Supernatural Hour. I'm Tim.
I'm Raven.
Chad.
And I'm looking forward to today. Today's going to be fun. I mean, every day's fun, but...
Is it going to be fun?
This is like extra fun.
Oh, okay. Sweet. We also have merchandise on our website, advanceparanormal.com. Go to the merchandise tab, and you can buy a lot of our cool swag. Show some love and support.
I need some swag.
Okay. Do we have any recent investigations?
I think there's this hotel thing.
Oh, you know what? My aunt called and said her hotel was haunted, so we actually went down there. And that was interesting. So my cousin said that, well, several of my cousins work down there, and they hear footsteps above the front desk when no one's up there, and the room right above the front desk is like a storage room kind of area. They hear audible voices. In fact, one of my cousins said it was in the off season, and there was a very slow night. They only had, one guest checking in that night, and the guest came in, checked in, turned around, was heading to go out to their car to get their things, and it was a male, and my cousin heard a female voice say hello, and not only did she hear it, but the male guest that was walking out to his car turned around and said, "Did you say something?" And she's like, "No." They have just felt in the pool area, it's an indoor pool, they felt just kind of unease, just not like a dreadful unease or a bad unease, just kind of that feeling of, you're not alone, but you don't see anybody. What else did they say was happening?
Just sounds. Oh, phone calls from unoccupied rooms.
Oh, right. They'd get phone calls from rooms that nobody was checked into. So we did an investigation. There was a portal by the hot tub, which we closed. There was a female spirit. She's the one that's kind of in the lobby area and in the pool area. And her name was Hannah, and she's just kind of hanging out, just kind of doing her thing. Kind of has the hots for one of my cousins. But he is gay. He doesn't swing her way, so she's a lot of luck there.
And she's dead.
And she's dead, so there's just a lot of things there that's not going to go well for that relationship. So we figured there was a portal upstairs, but it wasn't a bad portal, and there was no need to close it, so we didn't. But there was a cantankerous type 2 up there, and so Hannah told us there was about 75 to 100 spirits in the hotel that were just afraid to go through the portal, that wanted to and were afraid to, and so we kind of talked him into letting them go through the portal. So, but nothing there that was necessarily bad. And Hannah's going to stay. She doesn't feel the need to leave. So, and the interesting thing is, one of my cousins, the one that heard the hello where there wasn't anybody else in the lobby but her and the guest, she was mostly just, she was terrified because she just didn't understand, and so she didn't even come the first night that we investigated, and we did a little the second night, specifically for her. And I think just going through the process and seeing how everything worked and understanding why Hannah was there, and she wasn't very open with why she was there, but it really helped my cousin understand that things weren't as scary as she had made them out to be. So it was just kind of interesting to see her, have this fear and kind of mellow out, understanding that things aren't as scary. So it was kind of interesting. But other than that, residentials right now still kind of slow. People are still a little concerned about bringing people into their homes, which is understandable. So.
And you did have a follow-up residential up in Ogden.
Yeah, and that one, bless her little heart, she'd made some things bigger in her mind than they really were. We debunked a lot of stuff on that one. So most of that was debunking.
But we are doing residentials.
Yes, if you want a residential, we will take whatever precautions make you comfortable. Masks, sanitizing. The follow-up residential we did was, she was an elderly lady, and she asked us to wear masks when we went in. So we did. And
we got cool new masks.
we did. Our group ordered masks with our logos on them, so we look official.
So I just want to say something real quick about residentials. I recently went on one. I was called while I was at work, actually. Apparently this homeowner was having a lot of issues, and the team that was helping them could not fix the issues. They had actually been in a couple days before trying to resolve the issues. They thought everything was good, but the very next day or a couple days later, things got worse, according to the homeowner and to them. So they actually called me and asked me if I could come help out, and I did. I didn't get there till almost midnight because I get off work at 11 o'clock, and it takes me some time to actually drive to places. But this is how freaked out this guy was, that he didn't care what time we showed up. But we did. I went and picked up Peaches and took her with me because I knew this was... I could feel the energy just from the phone call, being on the phone with this person. I could feel the energy of this spirit, and I could tell. I told her right off the bat that there was only 2 spirits in the home. Only ever was 2 spirits in the home. And that she kept trying to tell me that they had gotten rid of some, they had crossed them over, and no matter what I tried to tell this person, she would not listen to me. She actually started arguing with Brandy, and at the homeowner, during the investigation on some of the stuff Brandy was telling her. Overall, like, my thing is if you're out doing residentials, if you're helping people, please know what you're doing before you go into somebody's home. Our team has had a combined, just Peaches alone has been doing this since she was 5, so she's been doing this for 30 years. I know Deanne's been doing this for about 20 years. I've been doing this about 7 years myself. I'm still relatively new at 7 years experience. I'm still learning things. But if you don't know what you're doing, please don't go into people's homes, because you're just making the problem worse. We do care about our clients and our homeowners, and we want to make sure that the problem's taken care of. And we only send people to houses that we feel can actually handle the problem. If it's kind of benign and it's not really a negative entity, if it's just human spirits, we'll bring some of our newer investigators and show them how to investigate and teach them the proper way of doing things. Now, we were able to handle the spirit. It was actually a Native American shamanistic, I believe it was an inhuman entity. And part of the problem we ran into is while we were trying to get things set up and help this homeowner, the other team just kept wanting to chat about things that weren't necessarily relevant to the case that we were currently working on. It got to the point where I had to stop them and be like, look, hey, I love the fact that we want to talk, but I can feel the anxiousness that this spirit is getting, and we need to kind of put things to a stop. We need to take care of this right now, and then we can chat afterwards. Brandy and I were able to, mostly Brandy, were able to remove the spirit from the home, and then using different things that she's learned throughout the years, be it Wiccan or Voodoo, we were able to kind of lock down the yard or the property as well to kind of keep this entity from returning. We're also able to figure out that this entity was actually kind of like I want to say like a shapeshifter. It can take on other forms and kind of project itself as well.
I want to be a shapeshifter one day.
Yeah.
Today I think I want to be a swan.
I want to be multiple man from X-Men. I just want to be in multiple places at once.
Like,
so I could be home playing World of Warcraft and recording the podcast.
Kind of like the Wonder Twins, if you remember that old
Wonder Twins
cartoon.
Unite?
No, Wonder Twins Activate. Shape of a...
mop bucket.
Okay, I digress.
I know what you're talking about. I've just seen spoof cartoons about it. But... yeah, we were able to find that there was actually a portal nearby in one of the neighbors' yards that was throwing its energy, more or less, kind of like the shapeshifter was, and making it seem like there was other portals when there actually wasn't portals. I've never come across that before. I found that kind of fascinating to know that type of thing actually exists. That not only can spirits and entities throw their energy and try to confuse us, apparently portals can do the same thing, which I thought was really interesting.
That's new.
Like I said,
I remember that.
Been doing this 7 years. I'm still learning things.
I think there's so much we don't understand, and that's one of the things that's fun about doing this is just finding new things.
But yeah, I do appreciate that they did reach out to us, and we were actually able to help the homeowner. The way we like to handle things is we go in, kind of figure out what the problem is, take care of the problem, and then we tell the homeowner what they can do to kind of keep things peaceful and safe in their house after we've gone. We usually tell them that there might be some residual energy. You might still kind of think you're experiencing things or feel stuff for the first week or so. But we tell people how to bring that positive energy to their home, listen to uplifting music, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like church hymns or anything like that. Just something with a positive, upbeat tone to it. I recommended. I thought it was funny when this guy. I asked him if he liked cinnamon, just out of the blue, and he started going crazy, telling me about his whole life story of how he loved cinnamon as a kid. He put cinnamon in everything. He showed me his cinnamon lives. He was so super enthusiastic about cinnamon. It was actually kind of exciting. I was just like, okay. I'm like, buy a cinnamon scented candle when you're doing. We did some energy work on this gentleman as well, and we were able to help clear him of some of his anxiety and his depression and some of the things that were bringing him down, which
that's awesome.
Could have been a reason why this spirit was attracted to the home to begin with.
Right, because he could feel the negative energy.
So we cleared the house, got the spirit out. I began doing the energy cleansing on him, and then started giving him advice, and just to see how lit up and excited he was about cinnamon. I'm like, sweet. I'm like,
that's kind of how I'm with hazelnut.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll recommend this to anybody, especially right now where things are still kind of on lockdown. You're still stuck in your house. You're still dealing with depression, anxiety, or whatever.
Oh, and just the state of the world right now is ugly. So.
Just deal with the riots and the protesting and all that going on. There's just so much negative energy in the air right now. And I've recommended this to a couple of people lately. Find your favorite scent, like this guy. It's cinnamon. He loved it. Find a candle scented like that, or find some incense or just something that reminds you of that happy thing, and light the candle, take a couple deep breaths, maybe do a little 5-minute meditation session. Just do something to kind of help bring that positive energy back into your lives, back into your home, and try to help you forget about, obviously you're not going to forget about all the stuff that's going on, but try to get a more positive outlook on life.
Yeah, there's a saying that I saw very recently that said, scientifically, light and dark cannot exist in the same space. So the more you focus on the light, the more light you bring in, the less dark is going to be in it. And some of that is literal and some of that is figurative. But the more you focus on the light there's going to be. The more you focus on the darkness, the more darkness there's going to be. So, it just kind of depends on what you want in your life. Choose it and run with it.
Well, and like the saying goes, or I'm going to kind of paraphrase because I don't know the exact saying, but like you said, dark can't exist where there is light. Just use the light to drive out the dark. Light's going to always overtake the dark when it comes to trying to just keep your house positive. Now, in this situation, there was a spirit that I don't think he could have done it on his own because it had already been working on him. Mm-hmm. So outside influences, i.e. us and the other team, were necessary. But if you try to keep that in your life, the chances of you bringing something like that into your life, not as good, right, in my opinion. But I sorry, I kind of went off on a little rant there. It's just been bugging me. And just if you don't know what you're doing, don't go into people's homes. You're just going to make the problem worse. And I might get some hate texts or hate emails about that from the people, but I don't really care. I think they need to know that what they're doing is hurting and not helping. And if you're not sure what's going on, they specifically asked for a demonologist. And I literally don't know one. Your brother is the closest one. Castle's the closest person I know to being a demonologist.
Yeah,
because he's studied it for years.
I took a course on it and did really well on the course, but I would not consider myself a demonologist.
And I don't think he would consider himself a demonologist either. I think he would just consider himself someone that's educated.
I might say, if someone said, "Are you a demonologist?" I'd say what I just said. I took a course and I know some stuff, but no, I'm not. But
they were telling me how terrible things were in this house, and I could just tell them right over the phone. I've dealt with worse. And we have.
Yes, we've dealt with some pretty nasty stuff.
Larry at Cleve's house, he's been on the show. He's told his story. And if I remember correctly, there was a TV series that actually contacted you, brother, contacted Castle and wanted to do an episode on it. I don't know if they're actually going to or not.
I think I heard about that. I don't know.
But
how that went down.
But yeah, Cleve, he dealt with his problem for 20 plus years.
Yep. And
that was by far one of the worst residentials we've ever been on. The close second would be Laura Ishii, and she was also on our show and talked about her experience with the paranormal.
Right. Well, and then there's whatever that psycho thing was out in Twila too. I didn't go on that.
Oh,
The Rock?
yeah. No, the man that had the loaded firearms. The case that Castle, myself, and Mark will still tell you to this day is probably the scariest investigation we've ever been on. And I've seen some pretty scary stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, sorry about the little rant there. I just... Please don't just be a professor of University of Google and think you know what you're doing and going into people's homes. And if I get hate mail, I don't really care, because my main concern here is helping people and making sure that they get the help they need and not making problems worse in their homes.
So, do you want to hear the paranormal wackiness?
Oh, do you have some weird, wild stuff for us this week?
I do. Actually, so while I was looking, some of you might think this is lame, but I thought it was cool.
Oh, it's lame.
Shush. I never really thought about the difference between supernatural and paranormal. I just kind of thought they were, you could use them either or. But apparently, they're a smidgen different. Did you know that? And there is something wacky that goes with this.
I know Supernatural is a show on Netflix.
Yeah, bear with me. So,
And the name of our podcast.
And our podcast.
Absolutely. So, supernatural is phenomenon beyond our ability to understand and doesn't fit with the natural law of stuff. And we're kind of weird to understand sometimes. So, see, it works.
So we're supernatural.
We are.
Not sort of natural.
Okay.
We're super.
The definition of paranormal, and this is just based off of one guy, so other people might have different opinions, but this is what this one guy said. He says, paranormal goes beyond what we consider normal and hasn't been scientifically proven yet. So, let me give you an example. Germ theory. Now, how on earth do germs mix in with the paranormal? Coronavirus. No, all seriousness. In the 1700s, people getting sick was actually considered paranormal because they did not understand how germs spread and how, you should wash your hands. I mean, we know that now. So it's no longer paranormal. You get sick, it's like, well, you should wash your hands, stupid. You should have washed your mask. You should have worn your mask. But in the 1700s, they didn't understand that. So getting sick in the 1700s
was paranormal.
Those were not ghost footsteps, by the way.
Or were they?
Anyway, yeah, they didn't understand how it worked. But, as time went on and doctors and scientists figured out that germs spread disease and you really should wash your hands before you operate on somebody, then it was no longer paranormal. So there's your wackiness.
Well, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Sick people prior to 1700s were paranormal.
And burned on islands.
And Dr. Lister in the 1865, he saved lots and lots of people's lives because he's the one that started the washing of an antiseptic along people's surgical tools and instruments and washing the hands.
And they thought he was weird.
Mouthwash?
And guess what? Yes. Listerine is named after him.
That's what I was thinking. I wasn't sure.
That's actually it.
Well, that's
Listerine.
kind of... Not only are we talking about paranormal, but we're teaching you history as well.
See? You just become
and telling you to wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
You have learned more in this last hour than, I don't know when.
Than the last hour we did.
Last Tuesday.
Do you have a stone for us?
Yeah. Sardonyx.
Ooh. And I see it. It looks pretty.
It's blue and black in that picture. And green and red in that one. It can be red, black, brown, clear.
So pick your color.
Yes. It is easily obtained from specialty stores. It's out there. You can find it.
It's one that I see a lot. It actually sounds, when I say sounds common, just because you hear it a lot, not because it's common.
So, Sardonyx. It's actually a stone of strength and protection. It invokes the search for a meaningful existence and promotes integrity and virtuous conduct.
There's a lot of people that need this right now.
Probably.
We should just spray down all the mobs.
To be honest with you,
Sardonyx.
like when I pick the stones to talk about, I literally sit down. You watch me do it. I don't have it planned ahead of time. I sit down and just kind of flip through my crystal Bible, and whatever one that I kind of get told to stop and talk about, that's what I talk about. So
that's what we need right now.
So with Sardonyx, it brings lasting happiness and stability to marriage and partnerships. It attracts friends and good fortune as well. It can be gridded around the house and garden to prevent crime. It's a stone can be placed at each corner and at the doors and windows, but is more effective to douse for exactly the right place. Gridding, that's basically the what it just said, putting in the corners of the yard or home. Dowsing, I've only ever used it to try to talk to spirits. I've never actually used dowsing to kind of figure out, hey, where's a good place for this? Me personally, I can kind of feel the energy and feel where stones need to go. But that would be interesting to kind of use dowsing rods to try to set up a grid.
That would be interesting.
Psychologically, Sardonyx supplements willpower and strengthens character. It increases stamina, vigor, and self-control. This stone alleviates depression and overcomes hesitancy. Mentally, Sardonyx improves perception and aids the process of osmosis and processing of information. Now, as a healing stone, it heals the lungs and bones and resonates the sensory organs. It regulates fluids and cell metabolism, strengthening the immune system, and aids the absorption of nutrients and elimination of waste products. You want to place this anywhere, especially on the stomach.
Unless your stomach's big and round, it might fall off.
Nope. Big belly buttons that will hold it right in place.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I don't know. So, in addition to generic properties, specific colors have additional attributes, such as black Sardonyx, which absorbs negativity. Brown Sardonyx is grounding energy, and clear actually purifies, where red will stimulate.
So you can't just pick your favorite color. You got to kind of pick the one that
Well, you pick the one that
matches
has
your
all of it.
issues.
See, like this one has all the colors.
Oh, then you get everything.
So find the magic one that has all the colors, and you've got it all.
Sweet.
But that's the stone that I have for you this week. It's Sardonyx.
I don't think I have that one. That one might be a good one to get.
I don't think I have it either.
I'll get an elixir and go spray down all the mobs because they need some calming down.
Yes. And it prevents crime.
Sweet.
But don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to keep someone from robbing your house.
No. That's what I just won't go there.
I tend to lean more towards the...
Get rid of your security system and just, yeah.
That's why we have the Second Amendment, folks.
Get rid of that Ring doorbell that you just bought, and
glue a Sardonyx
you know who I'm
to your
talking about.
doorknob.
You know who you are, Ring doorbell owner.
I got a Ring.
Get rid of your Ring doorbells. Get rid of your security cameras. Put up a grid with Sardonyx. You should be good to go.
I'd keep your
Keep all of that. Disregard everything I just said. No, I think as a great protection stone, as far as like absorbing negative energy, I would say that would probably is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I lean more towards the metaphysical side of crystals. I think it's also, another reason why this one kind of popped up this week is the alleviation of depression.
Yeah. A few days ago, I had a rough day.
So,
because I tend to feel the feels, and all the world feels kind of overwhelmed me, and I had a moment.
I've noticed, like, it seems like lately the stones that I keep picking have something to do with anxiety and depression. So there's an ongoing theme with the stones I'm picking. So if you're feeling any of these, I know a couple weeks ago I gave an entire list of stones. I'll have to go back and find that list. I'll post it on Facebook. I did not get the video up like I said I would, because if I share it straight from my page, it has my name on it, and I don't want most of you knowing my personal Facebook page. Even though most of you probably already do, I'll get it uploaded properly before this airs. So, and I'll also have that list for you of the stones that help fight anxiety and depression.
Awesome.
So we'll call it an episode. I'm stealing Dawn's line this week.
It's an episode.
We'll call it an episode.
Peace out, butterflies.
See you next week.
See ya.
Next time.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network, found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright 2021 by Advanced Paranormal Services.